Today, what went wrong? We're going to discuss the cause of the downfall of modern society.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hi, I'm Brett Mauser, and you can't find me on Twitter, Facebook, anything really, because I have not been happier than I haven't been on Facebook for years,
You're nowhere.
and I love it. I'm not constantly comparing myself to anybody. I'm not getting into debates and arguments. I'm not seeing how happy an ex is or something like that. Or it's like it doesn't get inside my head. I live a nice, peaceful life of ignorance and bliss, because when it comes to social media, ignorance is bliss. Now,
Actually, it comes to social media. Ignorance is social media.
Yes, good point. Today, now, and this is something that I know that I'm going to give a little shout out to Nikki Young here, who she's going to be yelling and screaming. She's going to be watching this whole episode going, he doesn't listen to me. He needs to do.
He never listens. He never listens.
If he would just, and then there's
Why do I talk to him?
There's so many other people out there like, yeah, Brett, maybe your films would be popular if you were on social media. I did social media and it didn't help.
Yeah. Although Nikki Young is hot, so it's okay.
So we forgive her.
So we forgive her. And now she's smiling. Still wants to hit us with a stick, but she's smiling when she does it.
A lot of actors require and need their social media and need to get on there and promote themselves and whatnot. And I'm not going to take away the value of the publicity of social media and how that's how you publicize yourself nowadays. I know guys like Dub, Carlos couldn't live without their social media.
You got to shout out to you.
And then there are the people that just have to, post every little secret of their lives. I've had, the things that I've seen people post about their lives, about their relationships. It's like, why the hell,
dude? I have yelled.
And then when I
just
was,
no.
When I was dating and I was on Facebook, I would. That was always the way I found out about their their non-monogamy or what have you. It's like, really,
their dalliances.
Yeah. Oh, I'm hanging out with this person, and then you go on that person's Facebook. Well, no, they're in New Orleans right now. You're hanging out with somebody else. Ain't her. Why would you be lying about that?
And they really should have checked before they. I mean, you must have.
You checked for your alibi.
You dated dumb people apparently, because if you're gonna be like, I'm hanging out with so and so. Let's make so and so is nearby.
Yeah, and it always comes out. Even the ones that even this one I found out a lot of stuff on social media. I wasn't even trying to find out. It was just, wait a minute, that didn't make sense. Well, just things pop up in your feed. But then these are the same people that are in another room flirting, forgetting that they have a microphone on, and there I am ready to call action, and they're flirting on the next room next door with microphones on them. I'm like, hello, dumbass, I'm listening to you.
They must have learned their stuff from the Watergate's school of intelligence gathering.
Yeah. And then, but just for people who aren't even using it professionally, you post all the good stuff on your life, all the happiness and all the happy moments, and that's what you're doing, and then you get so upset when you see that somebody else is doing this and is doing that, and their life seems so perfect and wonderful and magnificent. Oh, my life sucks because they're doing all this and doing all that. Well, they're not posting their breakup stuff and everything. Oh, it's so frustrating.
It's the Facebook public media or social media. I don't even know what it's called. That's how bad I am. I describe it as it's your job interview, and it is your job interview to the world. You're putting your best face forward. You're putting all your cool stuff up there. It's your resume to planet Earth, talking about how good of a person you are and all the neato-Jewish things you do. And even
when you're not really involved in it, like and I wrote about this in my upcoming book. With job interviews, you'd have when you submit. I know I lost out on a few opportunities because 10, 15 years ago or something, you could search my name And one of the it was always seemed like it was came up number 2 search result was another Brett Mauser, a different guy, and I'll probably beep this for YouTube a lot, but you didn't even have to click on the page to see it. It would just say it, and it would talk about leaving guy, and this little twisted thing about that, and it would say posted by Brett Mauser. And I'd be like, that's not me, but that's the first thing that pops. That's like number 2 in the search results that pops up. And I'm like, what do I do? That's not me. I can't access that.
Yeah.
You know, so that was always a bummer that I'd hate that. And then forget about the stuff that you put up there is up there forever.
Yeah.
You know, and they have websites now that just crawl that stuff and take snapshots, whether you're a politician, a famous celebrity, or whether you're Joe Schmo. That all stuff is archived now.
Yeah.
And then don't even get me started on the algorithms that are going to see what you click, and they want you to click stuff, so they're going to give you the same stuff that you like rather than giving you alternate opinions, and you wind up living in this echo chamber, and then. Oh hell, you know, I got in this argument. I lost a friend. Well, that sounds overly dramatic, but I say lost a friend, or he got upset at me, and he doesn't speak to me anymore because of this. Well, that me being a Trump supporter, but you know, he posted something on his Facebook page, so you know, I'd followed him or whatever, so it popped up on my feed, and it was something about the elephants that paint pictures, and he said something about, this is why I'm a vegetarian. And in response, I posted the debunking video that showed that the guy, because they do that in India or whatever, the Indian guy sitting there grabbing the tusk, painting, you know, using the tusk to direct the elephant how to paint. And I sent that out to him, and then I got this long ranting email about how I was Facebook stalking him, and you know how he was doing that to cheer some girl up, and now she's upset, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I wasn't Facebook stalking you. You came up on my feed. It just causes so much drama. And then, oh my God, heaven forbid you should defriend somebody. And then it's like, well, what did I do? It's like, I haven't talked to you for 5 years. I'm just clearing out my little thing. I don't name. The friend count wasn't how I measured the value of my life. I just and besides, you were coming up and I didn't know how to turn off the stuff in the feed, and I didn't care. And so it was you can tell. Just,
oh no! Please continue. I'm fine.
The social media just makes my skin boil. Yeah. My blood boil. I have my skin.
Your skin crawl, blood boil. Yeah. You were having body issues according to this.
Yeah. And and I was always getting advice about, you have to have a presence on social media so people would follow it. And I would do my damnedest. I really would. I would try to promote stuff.
I remember you did, yeah.
And nothing would be. It never went anywhere. It never built up anything. So it was just like, why am I wasting my time on this? And nobody's going to go watch the movie on Amazon because of that. I'm going to concentrate on up the Amazon algorithm so that Amazon puts it in front of other people, because this social media stuff isn't going to work. And God knows who had blocked me anyways. So it's to me, I'm just off of it. And if anyone's asking me for advice about hey, professional side versus personal side, there are people who get contacted, who've been in one of my films, who've seen one of my films, and here's an actor, and they've tracked them down on Facebook and asked to be invited or whatnot, and they don't know what to do. They're like, I don't know this person. They only know me because I was in a movie. Yeah. Do I add them? Do I not add them? My advice to anybody that's asking me anything about social media is get off of it. You will be so much happier. I am as miserable as I was. The life decisions, the life choices that I made when I was on social media completely and utterly up my life, made me miserable, because I was getting so many negative things in front of my face. Yeah. I enjoyed the Facebook debates, but it just got pointless after a while.
Yeah.
Because then it would just, manifesto, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's not a manifesto. It's an argument against your argument.
Right.
Just because I'm a lot longer than yours just means that I've thought mine out as opposed to you're just giving me sound bites.
Right.
And I am still just really on a roll on this ranting and raving, aren't I?
I'm here for it, man. You keep it up.
I just cannot stand social media.
I understand. Coach Bad Self.
There are just so many aspects of the social media that just drives me nuts because, I mean, I can get on the censorship aspect of it and how people are trying, how these big tech companies are just, blocking this and blocking that, even though they wind up being true, and the misinformation blocks and things like that. It just drives me insane. And then even this whole thing with GoFundMe now, which isn't really necessarily social media, but kind of it is. It isn't. But with the truckers, how they
GoFundMe almost got themselves in some serious legal issues. I'm sure the moment they said what they said, their legal department was like, "Are you out of your mind?"
And it opened up the door for Give Send Go. Which helps, which was the platform, for
Right.
people like me.
Yeah.
But Give Send Go stepped in, and I want to see what happens there. Of course, now all the big techs are going to do what they can to tear down Give Send Go,
Yeah.
because they're a Christian organization, and they're going to, which I have to give a shout out to, because I got to tell you, I got a call one night, and it was them. And they talked about my campaign, and they wanted to know if they could pray for me. And they said, "Will you?" And I spent like 15 minutes on the phone with this woman talking about, she prayed, and then we talked about a little bit of each of our problems. And they do that to everybody.
Yeah.
That is one of their things, is to reach out to each one of their people, everybody that has a campaign, and to pray with them and whatnot.
Yeah.
And,
Go on.
and what exactly did GoFundMe say? I mean,
Well, because the thing was, GoFundMe was saying that they weren't going to give it to the truckers; they were going to give it to the charity of their choice, whatever else. You can't do that. Basically, GoFundMe is acting like a bank in this case, where you give them a certain amount of money. Now, in case of I don't know, Truckers for Canada, whatever the hell you want, whatever they are, in case something like them was to go defunct, like say you wanted to contribute money to whatever else, and over a period of time it goes defunct, then whoever it is, in this case GoFundMe, has to find an equitable charity to give the money to. They can't just say, "Oh, you want to give it to pro-life, whatever." No, we're giving it to Planned Parenthood. If they do that, they open themselves up to what could be considered an inordinate amount of lawsuits and FCC issues. So, interstate commerce problems. So yeah, GoFundMe had to themselves in a hurry, because like I said, that is blatantly illegal, and they would find themselves very quickly on the short end of a long list of lawsuits. So that was a problem.
So yeah, talking about lawsuits and whatnot. Don't get me started on oh god, you asked me this a month ago. Was it section 163, 136, whatever that section is that identifies it as a publisher versus basically a podium forum.
Oh, a forum versus
a publisher. Which allows them to be free of lawsuits, because they are just. And once you start determining what can and cannot be on there, you are now a publisher.
Exactly.
And they get away from that.
Well, they're gonna. That is coming to a close relatively quickly. Like I said, 2022 is very swiftly approaching, and unfortunately, Facebook has been living under the shelter of a Democratic Congress for a little bit too long, and unfortunately. It is not the president where the power is, it's the Congress where the power lies. And unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Jeff Zucker is going to be in a little bit of... they're going to have a little more trouble than they have in the past, especially now. Especially that they've been blocking people for, these misinformation. It turns out the misinformation is starting to be true. And so now these people who are fact checkers, unfortunately, are now going to fall into the auspices of, you're no longer a forum, you're becoming an administrator, and now you are liable for the content that you put up. And if you are then censoring, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So yeah, it's to me, and I've said it 1,000 times already in this. It's just frustrating. I look at the amount of depressions, cases of depression, especially young young teenage girls. 50% increase in harming themselves.
Suicides. Teenage girls in the COVID time period, there are certain areas that have had upwards of 50% increase in suicides in certain places. You are seeing an uptick in. Even in some of the what they call, I guess, the more. I hate to say the word fragile. I mean, it's truth, but it's like the more fragile parts of society, including those people who, for lack of a better term, have kind of those with gender dysphoria or homosexual kind of things up. I mean, we're talking about their suicide rate is 8 times the regular suicide rate, and a lot of it is because of what goes on social media. A lot of it is because of what goes on in the world. Because for the past 2 years, there's been not a whole lot but social media. Mm-hmm. Certain places typically where a lot of these, as I say, more disadvantaged, if you want to say, or more fragile parts of society live, if you will, the blue states, they still can't go anywhere. They're still locked down. They're still put away. They still got the masks on. They can't do all kinds of things. And you're finding mental health is declining greatly. Of women in the United States, I think aged 18 to 55 is what they rated. Upwards of 30% of them are on some kind of antidepressants. Are you kidding me? There's 360 million people in the United States. Over half of them are women. 30% of them are on antidepressants. Does that sound like a little bit much to anybody? Now, we could also go into whole things about how women are being targeted because of the woke and the SJW in certain situations where they're being told they have to do this and do this and do this and do this in order to be happy. And unfortunately, it's not what's making them happy. But social media is there to tell them that it is. And if they don't, social media is there to put them back in line like good little Germans. Like good little robots. Do what you're supposed to do. Don't do what you're not supposed to do. Do what we tell you to do. And it's right there. Every time you pop up your little God box, every time you turn on your computer, it's right there telling you what to do. So you're absolutely right. When it comes to a place where you could go to feel bad about yourself, social media is a place for it.
Where everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name. I use social media. I have a Facebook account. I think I have Instagram, but I don't use it very much. And it's mostly my airplane crap. I have a lot of friends who are interested in what I do, and so I do post pictures and I post videos every now and again. And when everything happens, I get a lot of questions. Little people messaging me, a plane does this or something happens, or then when that 777 dumped gas all over those kids at that school in San Francisco, I was like, what happened? And I was like, little bastards deserved it. That's what they get for living in San Francisco. And I was explaining how dumping works and what this is and what that is. When the 737 MAX was having its issues. And that's what I use it for, is to, have a conversation with people, to teach. That's the instructing thing that you talk about me doing, is I like to teach people stuff. And that's my wheelhouse, is airplanes. I don't really get in debates much, mostly because I've designed myself. Talk about living in an echo chamber. I've gotten rid of most everything and everybody that I say rid of. I don't have. I don't belong to groups. I don't have stuff. Trump being the president removed a bunch of the people who don't want to talk to me because I'm not a Trump hater. I don't necessarily support President Trump, but I didn't hate him like I should have, I guess.
Well, I remember in 08 or in that era, I had somebody, one of the actors that I worked with, posted on his Facebook page, if you have anything bad to say about President Obama, just defriend me now.
Because if you think I'm not going to say bad things about a leader, about the representatives of the country, just because you don't like me to, oh, princess. I'm the same way. I'll talk about whomever I want to talk about. And if you don't like it, Let me see if I have a ball or two for you to suck. That's what's going to happen. I don't care. Now, a lot of the... this is going to sound terrible, but it's kind of true. A lot of the stuff that people get upset about and the self-image, whatever. And anyone who knows me knows I have a very, very, very good sense of ego. I fly airplanes. And basically my entire, I guess, self-image is I'm better than you because off. Is that true? No, of course not. You know me. I'm not really like that. But the idea is that I don't particularly care what you think because nothing you say is really anything to do with me, And you know how I've always been. You know who my parents were and how I was raised. And so, although I keep it around, I don't check it very often, like once a day. If I have something to post, like I took the picture of the Aurora Borealis the other day. And I posted those pictures and be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't put political stuff, really. Every now and again, I'll post something about why masks are useless or something like that. But I don't really say it myself. I'll basically, like Johns Hopkins the other day said, lockdowns don't work. So I posted something. I just took Johns Hopkins and just posted what they had to say. And anyone who didn't like it, I says, hey, man, talk to Johns Hopkins. I don't give a crap. And that's how I kind of... Well, you should do this, you should do that. And I was like, you're not John Hopkins. Guy on the internet, Johns Hopkins. Yeah. Dude on the internet, Johns Hopkins. Well, who are we gonna listen to with Revolt? Is it dude on the internet who thinks we should, be locked in our houses like what China does? Or Johns Hopkins? And that's how I deal with all that kind of stuff. I've seen a lot of my friends do like you do, or had issues like you have, but they won't dump it. They won't get rid of it. And I see how horrible it is for them. And I tell you, you got to get out. Dude, limit it. Put it away. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. Quit. You have to pare it down, okay? Because you're making yourself miserable. And they won't. And it's like...
Yeah, anytime anyone's going to ask me, hey, what do you think about social media? What should I do? How should I promote myself on it? Don't. Just get off of it right now. Mm-hmm. For your own safety, for your own good. Well, what am I going to do for advertising? What am I going to do to promote myself? Be like a normal business and buy some advertising. It's what I had to do. It's what I did. And if you want to promote yourself on social media, then buy ad space on social media. Yeah. You can see I don't really mind going in and beeping these words out this time because I'm so freaking... But I'll tell you one thing about this.
I wish I'd have known earlier.
And I want you... Well, hey, this is my rant this time.
You go right ahead.
And I want to tell you... Let me ask you something about this. The Facebook and Google and all these people are... they're making millions and billions off of that ad space. Mm-hmm. We're getting Gmail for free. We're getting Facebook for free. Blah, blah, blah. And they're selling us ads. I want you to think about this. How many times have you clicked on one of those ads? Not a lot of people click on those ads. And I'm coming from TV where the holy ratings book was that of the Nielsen's, where they sit down and pray to the book of Nielsen's. And yet at the same time, everyone who worships at the foot of that book knows that it's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It doesn't give you an accurate representation, yet they're running out there and that's how they're selling their airtime. So if you're going to tell me that, the Facebooks and the Googles, they're being honest and they know what they're doing with their advertisers, and those advertisers are getting their money's worth, I guarantee you they're not. In my experience, I have watched that from the television side, and you're going to tell me that it's completely different on the other side, where they don't release a lot of the information. Try to see how many times, how many people have streamed something on Netflix. They're not going to tell you. I do not believe a lot of that stuff works. It may work for you. I'm still trying to figure out what works for me. I'll buy directly from Amazon so that they put my mine on search results when they're looking for movies or whatnot inside of Amazon Prime. If you're scrolling or whatever, and get up in the ad. But I'll also go and I'll find somebody. Like Redonkulous, where I know that's our audience. I'd rather give them a little bit of my money, help support them, and promote two people that would get my stuff and would like my stuff, and get my money's worth.
Yeah,
and help support another independent company, rather than spending day after day after day constantly posting stuff on social media, wasting my life away. Because I mean, here if I'm editing something, if I'm editing a film, and now I got to take the time to make 5 different postings a day, hell, 5 different postings a week, with art and questionnaires and things like this.
I ain't got that kind of time, man.
No, no, I don't. And when I was paying somebody to handle our Facebook and Twitter page, if we had Twitter, I don't even remember. Whatever she was running, I still had to do, edits of the videos to get to her and whatnot. It's just, and I didn't get that much results from it.
Yeah.
And if I wanted, if I wanted to reach out to people, then I'll just spend my damn money, because it's like the yard. I can go cut the yard myself. For you, I mean, I do cut the yard. I do like cutting my yard.
Yeah.
But for you, it's like
I
don't like it. I can do it, but I've got other things to do with my time. I'll do that. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I could, and I tried. I tried. But it's just like, at some point, and I think that's the problem is that it's a little guy like me that just runs, is a one-man kind of operation, as opposed to these big ad agencies or companies that are making all this money and don't give a to look at the actual results, or don't even know how to read the results. I worked at a company that was handling a nonprofit here in town. They were handling the and they put me in charge of presenting to them why these postings on social media worked and these didn't. And I was like, look, I got a comm degree, I got this degree. I don't know how the hell am I supposed to find out why this one's getting views and retweets and this one isn't? We'll just make it up. Figure out some reason and present that. And that's when I went, boom. That's when I went, that's what the current state of advertising and marketing is.
Yeah.
Because you got these poor people at a nonprofit that are busy running their business. So here comes an ad agency that's going to come in and say, okay, this is why it isn't working. And they go, okay, thank you. We'll put more money in that. Never saying, well, why?
Yeah, how'd you get that information?
How'd you get that information? Oh, I just made it up.
We just made it up.
We did surveys. What happens when you say that? I mean, I got fired that week because I was like, I can't do that. That's why I got the wrong degree.
Yeah.
I got to focus in comm and marketing and that kind of area, and I won't bullshit like that. So, and that's what marketing is. You've got an industry, a field of people who went to college to learn how to lie for a company, because that's exactly what marketing is. And when companies when stories like Project Veritas, expose something like CNN or Google or whatever, when has a Google or a Tegna or anybody like that ever come out and gone, oh, you know what, they got us, you're right, we were wrong and we're gonna stop? When has that ever happened? No, because you got a team of lawyers and a team of marketing people that are going to take that and spin it. And when you have a problem and you have an issue that pops up, and they decide they're going to address the issue, then all of a sudden the big promotions and the big marketing push is on the solution. We're solving this problem by doing this. And this becomes everything they market, and they forget about the little the problem. It's like the frickin' buses. When I was working at a when I was marketing at a bus company, I would or not I, but they would it's a public transportation.
Right.
How clean, how safe is this? No, people were urinating and defecating on buses all the time. People were doing drugs in the back of the bus. Everything was going on that. So, how do you solve that? Well, we get CNG buses, compressed natural gas. We are now green buses. That's what we promoted. And everyone went, wow, they're green. They're trying to help the environment. Does anyone does anyone promoting the fact that we're cleaning this up or doing anything? We're now cleaner? No, because we couldn't keep the damn buses clean.
Yeah.
So we would have to go and promote our frickin' greenness of it all. And that's the other thing is, don't get me started on public transportation, because here is the most subsidized piece of crap in the world. You got people, you got like 10 people riding a bus in certain cities, but they have a 300 employee public agency that's being funded by tax dollars, and all they care about is how many grants are coming in, or, oh, well, this person, we were able to get 15 people to work, and they wouldn't have been able to work. Well, them. It's cheaper to just rent them a car to go back and forth to work, and the agencies know this, that it would be cheaper to just rent a van and start a carpool agency for these people, rather than fund an entire bus line.
Yeah.
Wow. Woo! All right, I'm done. Your turn. I think that's the longest rant I've gone on.
Are we done already? I was just getting excited. That was awesome.
So how does this all relate to social media?
No, it's all part of social media, because the whole idea is that if social media was the actual, we were sold a bill of goods talking about how all these different social medias would bring us closer together. But has it? We were told that the social media would help us solve issues and solve problems and get together and discuss solutions. Has it? We were told that being more connected would bring us all together. But has it? I don't think the United States has ever been more fragmented in our lives. The problem is, and you've said this, we've talked about it, it's a little different when you want to stand up and face people and tell them your opinion, as opposed to sitting behind a keyboard and calling and no one gives a what we say.
Instead of solving the world's problems, they're talking about how bad Serial Rabbit is, and some movie that was made in San Antonio that nobody cares about anyways. They're going
I don't think they're talking about that. The biggest thing I hear them talking about is how syrup is racist.
Oh, yeah.
And, and...
Well, and then you got and another thing that they said, you get to connect with the people of your past and be able to maintain. There's a reason I don't talk to those people anymore. There's a reason I hadn't heard from them for 20 years.
Yeah.
Now somebody from high school is going to try and connect with me now that I'm almost 50 years old. What the do I have to say to this person? The only reason that Facebook is around is because there are so many useless jobs out there. What I mean by that is that if people weren't spending 7 of their 8 hours a day on Facebook at work, nobody be on Facebook. Where do you think most of the people are where do you think Facebook is getting most of its time?
Yeah.
People at work sitting with nothing to do.
Yeah.
Most of these positions could be eliminated.
When I have nothing to do, I can't actually talk on the radio, or I can't actually talk on the Facebook because, I'm not.
There's no Wi-Fi.
There's no Wi-Fi at 41,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean.
But that's another thing is, like when I was, when I was bitching and moaning about not being able to find a date years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And people would say, well, you got to be on Facebook. You be on social media. That's what, people aren't going to want to date you if you don't have a social media presence. I'm like, well, I don't want to date them.
And a lot of people do. They put in, like you said earlier, they put entirely too much.
Too much stock into it.
There was a girl, a single mother, and I've known her for years. And I got on her case. I was like, you put entirely too much about what you're doing and where you're going. She's like, what do you mean? And then I said, give me about an hour. And I got back with her. I was like, okay, this is where you live. Here's where your son goes to school. Here's when he's in school. He's doing this. These are his teachers. Here's pictures of his teachers. Okay, and I basically gave her a report. I was like, so if I wanted to do something to your son between this time and this time, I would go to this person's class and check him out because this, that, and I told her how I could get into her world and take her son and mess with her. And I know she works from here to here, so I know her house is wide open and I could see her out, and just all these things. And I know because you showed me pictures of inside your house. And I know your dog is here, and I know what kind of dog it is, and I know it likes little treats. So I told her basically, you are telling me how to take your life apart. I said, you can't do that. Okay, it's not.
When we were on the road trips, we even talked about that. Is you don't get on there in social media saying, "Hey, I'm at the Grand Canyon. Hey, I'm doing this." Not until you get home and say, "Hey, we were here. We were there." Because if you do, now everybody knows you're not at home.
And that was a conscious decision we made.
Yeah.
We took lots of videos. We took lots of pictures. I would send them to friends of mine who knew.
Yeah.
I'd send it to whoever, this person or that person. I'd send it to my mom or whoever else. People who knew we were gone. But not on public media, not to strangers, not to the ether, where anybody on the planet could get a hold of it. Okay? It's not just unsafe, it's unwise because you are opening up too much of yourself to people. Okay, I had a girl years ago get on my case. She was, irritated with me because, I didn't let people in. I didn't give enough of myself. I'm like, well, first of all, who are the are you, like, coming on like the mayor's wife talking about what we're gonna do today in the city? It's like, hey, honey, thanks for giving me the key to your city, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give you mine. That's not how I do. That's not what I do. And if you don't like it, there's the door. I don't do that. And people who do that, and unfortunately, I have known people who do that, who then got into trouble. I don't mean like they had to go to the pencil's office. I mean they had to go to the hospital. Bad things happen to you when you let too much in. People forget the world is a very big, scary, evil, bad place, and it will, as Rocky Balboa says, knock you to the ground and keep you there. Okay? Don't let it in. I'm not saying that you need to just totally close yourself off. I don't close myself off. I still post airplane things. I still talk about certain things. The stuff I post every Halloween about the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, about Snoopy, the World War I flying ace, and how it's freakishly accurate. I do that every year. That's fun. That's funny. That's informative. People like that. If you want to know what Facebook and Instagram and whatever is supposed to be for, that's what it is. Enriching yourself by giving stuff to your friends and your family. But when you open your world up to anybody who says, hey, let's be friends. When you do that, now you've gone from having a group of friends to a gallery of rogues whom now you have some need to entertain.
A fan base.
A fan base, yeah. You've stopped being a member of a family, and now you're the dancing monkey. Okay. And unfortunately,
but you and I both know a couple people that are not only do that, but are happy to be that dancing.
That's who
monkey.
they want to be. They want to be the dancing monkey. And I understand certain people like the attention. I understand certain people need the attention. They've had issues or whatever else. And I understand that for some people, they have this image of what it means to be popular or famous or whatever else. I get it. I don't agree with it. I will not be a part of it. But I understand why they do that. Doesn't make it right. I know why people, drink till they throw up. Doesn't make it right.
I don't like people enough to want them to like me.
That people like me or not is immaterial to me. I am way, way awesome without them. I'm quite possibly one of the most awesome people I know. I do cool all the time and have a great time doing it. Hang out with my buddy Brett Mauser and do all because I feel like it. And I don't need anyone to approve that for me.
Yeah, and you know me. I love traveling. I love going. I'll pick up and just go somewhere.
It's one of the cool things about our little world.
Yeah, I want to go see. And I was thinking, watching Cheers. You know what? I know there's a Cheers bar. Let me go. I want to go pick up and just go visit the bar. And then I find out, it's shut.
Well, when we did our trip to Las Vegas, we're like, we'll leave Saturday or Friday. Let's leave Thursday.
Yeah.
We just because we could.
Yeah.
And I tell people, you've only got one chance. You've only got one go around. If you're so concerned about social media, why don't you do something to put something cool on that stupid thing? Quit complaining that everyone gets to do all the cool stuff, because I'm telling you that's not how it is. It's not true. It's a Potemkin's village. Look that up, kids. It's not what is real, okay? It's a movie set. It's false fronts.
It's marketing.
It's marketing. And we just mentioned, and you're the marketing expert. It's bull.
I'll guarantee you, everybody watching this, that at some point on their social media has gotten one of those videos forwarded to them. And they even reshared it and they posted it themselves. But one of those videos about how social media is sucking the life out of people and how you need to step away from it and take some time off. Go without Facebook for a month and see how your life changes. And how it, and a video that puts out those statistics of suicides, of self-harm, of depression rates. And how many of you posted one of those videos and did nothing? didn't do anything that you told other people to do. That's why I'm going to say right now that the advice I'm going to give is going to fall on deaf ears. Nobody's going to listen to it, and it's almost a waste of breath.
Right.
But just me being me, want to be able to 10 years ago when I'm standing over somebody's grave and somebody's going, why didn't somebody say she should have gotten off of social media? I can scroll back to my What Went Wrong episode, hit play, and hand it to them. And here's this up and showed this segment. If you're trying to decide how to handle social media in your private life or your personal life, right off the bat, if you're in your personal life, get off of it. Or have it just there to be a tool that you go check on things once a month and see how people are. Don't scroll through 5 miles of that's going to make you depressed as Get off of Facebook or limit it to once or twice a month as on a personal level. Then keep only the people in your circle as friends that you actually talk to or that you actually have something in common with. It may be somebody that you knew in high school that you were buddies with, but you haven't talked to in 20 years. Them, get them off your list because it's just inflating your ego that, I've got 1,000 friends. That's all I've got to say about a personal level. Mm-hmm. From a professional level, and don't let fans in, don't let like that. And if you've got to have some sort of social media presence for a professional level, hire somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody will be out there who will do it for $100 or $200 a month. Do that. Just get them a whole bunch of your pictures and then just send it to them and let them handle it. You never look at it. You never see it. You never see how many people there are and how many friends or followers you have. Just get that off. And if you're using it to advertise and market yourself, find somebody who's got a million subscribers on YouTube and see if they'll run a campaign for you for $2,500.
Yeah. You're
going to see a hell of a lot more response from that than people scrolling past you on social media. And I'll guarantee you, every time when I was on Facebook and I was scrolling, or I'd get on and I had favorited a motion picture company or a celebrity or whatever, I got sick and tired of seeing their posts pop up, 3 or 4 an hour. I dropped them, or I unrung the bell, or whatever it is you do. Whatever you want to do. Do what you can to get off social media. That doesn't include YouTube videos.